Hello, everyone,
Happy Tuesday, everybody.
and welcome back to another installment of what's really going on in America, and and how crappy our country is right now because we have a dictator for a president. Um,
A robotic vacuum cleaner. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That Shane Gillis joke will never get old to me. I am a child.
yep. Now, and for everyone, so please give us some support by getting a Human Lives Matter t-shirt to help end color division and to spread the message of positivity in a world full of negativity. And so yeah, today I came across an article with AOC thinking that she may go to jail if Trump becomes president. Boy. But yet, I wouldn't doubt if she would be the one wanting Trump to go to jail because he was taking away her payday from our works.
Oh, she's my favorite Democrat. She really is. I mean, come on, somebody give her an award. Like, her theatrics are just off the chart. And like when she went to the border and cried, like, "Oh, this is so terrible." Hey, what are we doing right now, Quinn, at the border? Didn't we just like an executive order from an executive order that said we're closing the border because it's election season and people care about people coming across the border illegally. I mean, I don't see anybody trying to fast track these people to citizenship. I mean, that seems like the logical thing to do. I mean, come here, like, all right, cool, Quinn, let's invite a whole bunch of people over to our houses and then have like no food and have no idea what to do with them. It's like, okay, you're here now. I don't know what to do now. That's what we did. That is what we did as a country. I don't get it, but
oh, you mean like what happened in New York, where people are losing their homes to squatters, and because the homeowners couldn't pay for themselves, their family, and the squatters.
I'm sorry. I love when bad ideas backfire publicly. I really do. It happened in Chicago because what was it? I don't remember her name. She looked like Beetlejuice. But she wanted everybody there. So what happened? Certain governors from certain states started sending her busloads of people. We don't know what to do. Well, you asked for it. You said send them here. We'll take them, and then like, oh shit, they did it. Like, I don't get it. I really don't. And realistically, since AOC is so concerned about going to prison, if Trump gets elected, how can he do that? Because remember, the justice system is fair and just and apolitical.
Well, here's the clip that I took from that interview. Here we go.
What happens to you if Donald Trump wins? What do you do? What's your first move?
I mean, it sounds nuts, but like, I wouldn't be surprised if this guy threw me in jail.
Really?
He's out of his mind. Mm-hmm. I mean, he did his whole first campaign around lock her up. Like, this is his motto.
Oh, he didn't say that, He said he didn't say it. Teasing.
Yeah, right?
That, yeah.
I take him at his word. I take him at his word. I take him at his word when he says that he's going to round up people. I take him at his word when he threatens journalists. I take him at his word. I feel like what we saw in his first presidency was an amuse-bouche to what his intentions are. He has learned from his mistakes of appointing professionals, and he will not make that mistake next time.
Okay. He will not make that mistake next time. What does that even mean?
It sounds like they poked the bear and they realized that the chain that they had him chained up with isn't strong enough. That's really what I got out of that. But, like I just said, if the justice system is fair and just, he can't legally do that. He can't just say, I'm a dictator. It can't happen. It takes a whole lot of people, and it's a lot of palm greasing. And I'm sorry, the man is popular with the people. He is not popular with the government. And you can see that within the Republican Party. He does not have unanimous support. And that right now is the biggest problem. Because if you want Joe Biden out, guess what you need to do? You need to rally behind the orange man and get him elected at all costs. Because otherwise, you're giving up the White House. And then and if it doesn't happen, you're like, oh, well, we shouldn't have nominated Donald Trump. So you're telling this free nation of people that they voted wrong, and what they want and what they feel is good for them is wrong. Well, guess what? That means you no longer align with your constituents, and you will be voted out. That's really what it's going to come down to. He's not going to round up people for no reason because I don't like your haircut. You guys gave him everything he needs to go after you with 100% legality on a silver platter. You went after him on trumped-up charges, no pun intended. You decided that you're going to try for a felony on something that's actually legal. The man's guilty of paying his bills, which, I don't know, they've been telling me since, 2016 that, he doesn't pay his bills. Well, he did, and you put him in court for it. And then on top of it, you convicted him for it. Quinn, I work at a shop, okay? We get bills every day. If somebody sneaks in some kind of fee on one of my part invoices, and I pay it, what am I a good person? Am I a bad person? Because if I pay that extra fee, all I'm doing is making sure that I'm retaining my relationship with that vendor. If for whatever reason somebody decides, hey, you know what? We don't like your company anymore, and you paid that fee to that guy that you buy bumpers from, and that's now a felony. What the hell, man? Like, I just paid my bill. The lawyer sent me a bill. I paid it.
Well, it's not just the companies to be paid for, but you got the leftists always saying, because politicians say it, the rich do not pay taxes. Basically, they're saying they don't pay taxes at all. So where did the trillions and trillions of dollars the government spend come from without rich people paying taxes? And plus, on top of that, let's say I'm a billionaire. I buy Trump's nice home. Wouldn't that be taxed? Plus, if I bought some yachts, let's say $1 million yacht, wouldn't I have to pay 6% sales tax?
Oh, that's just the beginning of it. You start getting into that real high end, stuff that everybody wants to complain about. Yachts, jets, mansions. You're not talking sales tax. You got property tax. You got taxes upon taxes upon taxes.
Yeah.
And it's because I want to know where this rich people don't pay taxes limit is, because I know for a fact my company that I work for does not fall into it. It's depressing the amount of money, and not just income tax and whatever other business taxes that they decide to tack on. regulations, and like we're paying a company, I don't know, like let's just say I could buy a really nice truck for what I'm paying a company as a consultant right now, so I can remain OSHA compliant.
Here's a question. Since we have so many politicians coming out of politics as millionaires when they go in with barely any money, like probably about what we have or less, are they admitting that they're not paying taxes and then deflecting it upon private citizens?
Look, if they don't like the tax code, change it, because that's really what it comes down to. There are so many loopholes within the tax code that nobody understands. Like, do you ever understand why business owners drive Range Rovers? Like, there's a reason. It's a vehicle that is over 6,000 pounds and can be written off 100%. So if I take ownership of a brand new Range Rover on December 31st, I can write it off for that tax year. 100%. $250,000 SUV that soccer moms drive around in, mind you, I could just write off.
Yeah.
Because of the tax law. The tax law says it's over 6,000 pounds. It's a commercial vehicle. It's a business buying it. Guess what? That's what's happening. That's basically what goes down. Oh, private jets. Same thing. Write them off 100%. Oh, you want to buy a $50 million yacht? Same thing. Are you conducting business on that yacht? Absolutely I am, sir. Write off. That's how they get away with it. Like Trump said when he was campaigning and debating against Hillary, change the tax code. But you won't, because your donors benefit from it as well. So we're going to parade it around in front of the voters like it's some sort of like, we can't do anything about these people. And at the same time, I'm going to raise the corporate tax rate to 50%. Cool. That means nothing, because you did nothing about the loopholes. And they're still going to pay zero. They're still going to get subsidies. They're still going to benefit from everything that they're currently benefiting from. Except you're going to point your finger at the person you don't like because they're utilizing the tax codes that you refuse to change.
And plus on top of that, our politicians have been benefiting with those tax codes and the tax cuts for the longest time. And it's proven in California with the $20 an hour tax hike, but Perkins, I believe it was.
No, Panera, because he's
Panera.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm very upset about that one, because somehow Panera Bread, the restaurant, got classified as a bakery, so they are now exempt from the $20 an hour rule. Meanwhile, every little mom and pop diner, $20 an hour. Every chain restaurant, $20 an hour. Every taco cart, $20 an hour. That's what happened. They're selecting and they're writing the rules to affect whomever they want to affect, but while still benefiting the people that they like. That would be like if I wrote new tax code right now, I could get paperwork done. I could have you classified as a freaking church, and guess what you pay for taxes? Zero. You know why? Because I just changed the law.
And of course, it's all unconstitutional somewhere along the lines, because that basically, because when they're making laws that takes away our right to life, liberty, and property, and we're spending more on the government than ourselves by our individual needs, ends up, it's just frustrating.
I think what we need is somebody that just at the end of their wits as far as being in like Congress or the House to just lose their mind and start proposing all kinds of bonkers legislation that takes it all down. Like, okay, you don't like rich people having tax breaks? Cool. Here's a bill that eliminates that ability for them to do so. Not just, oh, you made over this much money, we're going to tax you above that. No. Because that right there is saying, no, you are going to see so much money just get absolutely obliterated in the market because, oh, okay, you make over $10 million, we're going to tax you at 85%. You know how many people are going to file for $9,999,000? Like, they are going to literally just change where they put their money in a legal sense. What it comes down to is, unless you are like that top tippity top earner, you don't have access to the kind of accountants that can find these loopholes for you. Those accountants are expensive. Oh, they're also a write-off. But companies like the one I work for, we can't hire a $300,000 a year CPA to go through our books just so we can like make back 50 grand. It just doesn't make sense financially, except from the write-off standpoint. And to me, that's the scumbag move. I worked for a company a couple years ago, and at the end of the year, well, guess what we did? We spent a lot of money as a company. You could definitely tell how good of a year we had based off the Christmas party, the venue, what was there, things like that. I mean, our Christmas party the one year, I swear, was like 250 grand. Hotels, like everything, just paid for.
Well,
And guess what happens now that we're slow in our industry? There's no Christmas party anymore. We can't afford it. But we could afford it when we were trying to hide money from the government.
Well, what do you think would happen if Trump became president? Do you think he's gonna prosecute the actual criminals in DC?
I would like to think so. Like the actual criminals. I mean, and I'm not saying like, oh, you're a political opponent. I don't want to see any of that. I do not think that's fair. Because we're accusing the left of doing that to him right now. So we need to make sure that if we are going to go down that road, everything needs to be in line 100%. Nobody on this earth gets scrutinized more than a high-ranking right-winger. And especially if, it comes to like federal level stuff. But as we learned today, from, the Hunter Biden thing, he got a little boop on the wrist. Sentence, when it comes to sentencing, that's going to be nothing. He's going to get probably unsupervised probation, no time served. Ironically, on the same day that his robot vacuum father is standing up with Moms Demand Action, whining about gun laws and how we need more when, well, Mr. Biden, why did we not utilize the ones that we already have on the books against your child? He was a drug user, in possession of a handgun, lied on a federal form. Those are all felonies, okay? All of those are felonies. Oh, well, we don't really prosecute that kind of stuff, with the normal people. BS. Yes, you do. Because, you know what? We have veterans out there that have a medical marijuana card that makes it legal for them to have the medicine to help them in whatever way it's helping them, but it is illegal for them to retain ownership of a firearm because you refuse to make it legal at the federal level. So I was really hoping he was going to win so we could have utilized like, oh, okay, well, there's some precedents. So it's okay for the president's son to be in possession of a handgun with an illegal substance. Why do our veterans have to fear jail time or suicide to, own a gun?
It's
I really don't get it. And if anybody wants to debate me on the fact that there is, there's not two sides to this justice system. No, They convicted him on those charges because they have the ability to just boop him on the wrist. They're going to say, oh, well, the president's son got convicted, so it's obviously not rigged. You are supposed to be tried by a jury of your peers that are impartial. There is one person on this earth that nobody is impartial to, and that is Donald John Trump. There's not a single person on this planet who does not know his name at this point. Tell me, you either like him or you hate him. There is no in between. And there was no fair trial, especially in New York City. It wasn't going to happen.
Exactly. Our justice system became so... It's like a third world country. In fact, one of my followers on Facebook said we're living in a third world country at the moment. What do you think of that?
It's honestly okay. So I feel it's making a mockery of the justice system, and when you have the Democrats saying that the system's not rigged, meanwhile, your core voters, inner city people, generally poor, who for whatever reason flock to your party. I'm not really sure why. Oh, maybe it's because your public education system is absolute crap. Are being locked up en masse for possession of a plant. But yet somehow you're just going to keep voting for those people. Oh, it's the cops' fault. Who writes the laws? Who runs your cities? It's not Republicans. It's Democrats. Because guess what? If you as a Democrat mayor with a Democrat majority on your city council, you can stop cops from doing that. But you don't. You don't. You want people mad at cops because people like me out here in the sticks, I'm not the biggest fan of police, but they do a job. And I don't think they're given the respect for when they do the job well. And they're overly criticized when something goes wrong. Also, you want better cops? I don't know about you, but I work harder when I get more of that. I'm a capitalist, man. I'll tell you what, I will shut up and ignore a whole lot of things for the right amount of money. And I had a bad experience at a job one time, and I said, you know what, I'm never going to chase a dollar ever again because I ran myself ragged. I overlooked a lot of things, and it did not make me feel good where my heart's supposed to be. So I decided I need to hit the reset button. And I think a whole lot of people need to hit that reset button and realize this is where I'm the problem. I'm the problem because I'm allowing this to happen. I'm voting for this to happen. And I'm doing nothing about it but blaming the people who are just there literally to collect a paycheck. Cops, essentially, they are the person working the counter at a McDonald's, a Chick-fil-A, taking your order at a restaurant. It's just the only difference is they get shot at because all right, I'm just going to pull this guy over, let him know that his taillight's out, and give him a nice little warning. I'm not even going to check his license, and next thing you know, I'm getting shot at.
Well, it has to do with policies. If you remember, the governor of New York was chased out from a cop's funeral because they knew she just wanted a photo op. But in reality, she was the boss of the state police, and that her policies made their jobs harder. And in the private sector, you don't choose your bosses. The people don't choose your bosses. It's the owner that chooses the boss. But in public service, it's the people that chooses the employee's boss. And the leftists take too much time thinking about what the politicians say, but they never thought about asking about the employees who are affected by who we vote for.
The funeral that she went to, the guy was shot by somebody that she was protecting. And that's I'm sorry. That is probably the most just insensitive thing that you could do as a human being. I set things into motion, and this man is now at a funeral. I am listening to his crying wife, who is a new mother, at this man's funeral because of things I allowed to happen. And the fact that they can't sit down and change the way that they're thinking and their thought process, it just shows that they don't care. They really do not care. I mean, if she really wanted a photo op, that would have been the place for her to change her mind and publicly admit she messed up. Apologize to that man's wife. Apologize to that man's child. Because he is no longer on this earth. Because, oh, well, we're just not going to prosecute a whole bunch of people. And we'll see how that ends up. You are in a room full of people who watched how that ended up. You may only know this person by name because you got it on a Post-it note 5 minutes prior to showing up. But the people in that room knew that man, respected that man, worked with that man, had nothing but kind things to say. And for what? So you can feel good about yourself because, well, at least I'm not a racist. Criminals are going to criminal. What are you going to do about it? Because, well, guess what? We're back to that P word again, precedence. Nobody's above the law. Except
if you're a Democrat or Biden.
If you have some way, shape, or form of benefiting a certain party, it's very obvious how things just get brushed under the rug. Epstein list. Do you care who's on that list? Do you care what political party they're from, what company they're from? No. You want to know who it is, and you want them dealt with accordingly. It's the same thing. That right there is probably the only thing our federal government is in agreement upon right now is not releasing that list. And I'll tell you what, that makes me want to see it more. Tell me I can't see something that I have every right to see. You paraded it on television. Oh, biggest, trafficking ring of world history. The only two people that got arrested were the people running it. And the only people that we confirmed that were a part of it are people that are either dead. Oh, that's right. It was dead people. Yeah, Stephen Hawking. We had to pick on the poor guy in the freaking wheelchair. The guy, somebody hailed as one of the most smartest individuals on the face of this earth. No, we're going to pick on him because he liked midgets doing math.
It is funny how they always like to do as we got to the point where we are not holding the government accountable enough as we the people. That's what it comes down to.
People are scared. So after January 6th, people are scared to hold the government accountable because that's anytime you speak out against the man, if you will. I'm not trying to sound like, a boomer, but look what happened. We're hunting down grandma in Minnesota because she stood in the rotunda with a flag. Do you really think grandma's going to overthrow the government? Do you really think grandma's going to break into a federal building? No. Grandma followed a crowd of people who were let into that building, which was on video, very, very hard to find anymore of, certain things being moved so certain people could move to certain places. Am I saying that the entire thing was a good event? No. There were people there breaking windows. And I'll tell you what, I caught a couple of, let's just say I was watching some lives that day. I was very entertained as to oh God, this is happening right now. We'll just say there were some certain haircuts with some certain outfits and some certain sunglasses that fit the profile of a certain organization. Also, National Guard was on standby and was told to stand down. They could have come in and put the kibosh on that right away. I do feel that that was provoked. I do feel that people were let into that building to give them that false sense of security. Like, oh, okay, we're just here. We're protesting. Because we watched all of the summer of 2020 of people doing very, very, I don't know, not good things. Like, was the Capitol building set on fire? No. Was it looted? No. The guy who had the picture with the lectern, you do realize he took that picture as he was returning it to where it was supposed to be, which I thought was really funny. It was a great photograph, but no, now he's a felon for life. He can't fly anywhere because he picked something up to return it to where it came from. He actually took it from somebody who was trying to steal it. Here we are, though, because protesting is only okay if the powers that be agree with what you're protesting for. What was it? What was it? Seattle, where people took over, like, I don't know, half a city hall, like literally took it over.
I believe so. Yeah.
For what, a month?
Basically, yeah.
And tried to like form their own government within it and whatever was going on, like, which, okay, that was kind of funny. But why are they not being hunted down via all this fancy software, facial recognition stuff? Oh, that's right, they were wearing masks, and we agreed with what they were doing because it created turmoil and it pissed off the people we're trying to get really riled up so we can say, ha, got you, you violent people. No, we are not violent people. We want to see things work out for everybody. We do not want to see the destruction of our country. Some people do, and I'll tell you what, like I said, I have a lot of left-leaning views, but it's very, very difficult to even support those at this point because I can't support them as a whole. Like, they're just so far out there. Like, oh, okay, I own a house. Awesome. So apparently I'm a bad person now. Actually, I was called racist because apparently owning a house is white privilege. Yeah.
Because there's no black people owning houses.
Right. My father dying of suicide and my mom needing financial, help. So me stepping up to help my mother is somehow racist. So I'm sorry. I felt like I was kicked in the wobbly bits for that one. Like, really? I would rather live in my 1-bedroom apartment again and have my father back. I think that would be great. Life was simpler, had my couch, had my TV, had my kitchen, had a bed. I was comfortable. I got up every morning, went to work, enjoyed my life. That was great. Now I got this. So,
well,
yeah,
it's funny.
I'm so happy that the conditions of the world made my father feel that he could no longer be a part of it and removed himself. So there you go. Anybody who wants to criticize me for owning a house, there you go. Yeah, I'm really not happy about it. And the only reason I did it was, one, to help my mom and to keep the house in the family because it's where my sister and I grew up. My sister has a son. I've got a little nephew, little chubby buddy. But, I have no kids. So I'm probably going to give all that crap to him one day. And that's going to be the extent of my legacy. I'm not going to be anybody famous, and well, at least I hope. I really don't want to be, but yeah, there we go. We're protesting people because their parents off themselves. That's where we are right now.
And it's funny that you said that because first off, I'm a human being with white skin. And guess what? I never owned a home in my life. I always rented off someone. And guess who was my first landlord? A black human being who owned a lot of property. So I guess to the leftists, my landlord was a white supremacist.
Well, remember, every time they mention landlords as being a bad person, it's always towards a specific group of people. And I'm not defending landlords right now because I really do feel that there is a lot of very, very terrible ones out there.
Well,
mainly these TikTok follower landlords who listen to some moron in a 15-second video that convinces them, oh, I can just go buy this multi-unit. I just go in there and raise the rent. No, that's not how this works. A proper landlord is going to buy a building that is financially feasible for them, knowing they're not going to make money on it. What they're going to do is make equity, so then they can buy another property. That is the way it goes. This false sense of, I'm going to buy this apartment building with 4 units, and I'm going to just jack up the rent, and I'm going to borrow to the max to get it. And if I can't get this higher rent, I can't pay this mortgage nonsense. It's now what's going on. So you have a lot of very, very misinformed people that are owning properties and have no idea what's going on. And guess what's going to happen? That's going to add to the foreclosure market at an exponential rate. And who's going to end up buying them all? Big corporations, BlackRock, and all those people, all the, you will eat bugs and you will like it thing type people. Those are the problem landlords. They're the ones that are creating the problem. And these influencers are just going out there and just sucking it all up, dude. And if I really wanted to, I could go buy, rental properties. I would be dead broke if I did it, but I can physically make it happen. It's not like what they say on the internet. It's really not. You're on call 24 hours a day, unless you are fortunate enough to be able to hire a property manager. What's that going to cost you? Who knows? Anywhere between $25,000 and $55,000, $85,000 a year, depending on the property that they are managing for you. Anything breaks, your problem. So you have to factor that into it. That's where the whole buy low, sell high thing comes in. And the only landlords that are not scumbags are the ones that have owned the property and paid it off. They realize, I'm buying this as an investment. So you buy it at 20 years old, you're 50 years old, it's paid off, now it's income. That entire time you're breaking even. Everybody wants to go in and make that quick buck, and there's no such thing as a quick buck without screwing somebody over or doing something illegal. There's just not. Unless you somehow make a viral YouTube video and then somehow follow it up with a whole bunch of content and merchandise, which you probably got a better. Honestly, you and I have a better chance of getting in the NBA than that happening. I mean, dude, I'm a short white dude from the sticks. Basketball's not my thing, but I have a better chance of that happening than becoming, insta rich, whatever the hell they want to call it.
Insta rich. That sounds kind of like Insta mix.
No, and everybody. Okay, so as we become further and further into society, and we age as as humans, we're looking for things to become easier and easier and easier. I'm okay with hard work because that's what I grew up with. You do hard work because that's what you do. That's just what we do with our how we were raised, and we either work hard or we don't eat. And now you have, well, I just got out of college and I think you should pay me $150,000 a year. Well, what experience do you have? Well, I went to college. Okay, what actual experience do you have? You paid for a piece of paper. That's what you did. I can't. Everybody, I'm criticized by people who don't want to work to do what I did. They don't want to sacrifice to get what I had, and I am by no means a model of society. I'm a scumbag, dude. I hit cars with hammers. I put paint on things. I tell people what to do occasionally. I'm basically just a mechanic. That's what I do. And I just decided that I'm not going to go out there and buy Gucci bags and a brand new car every 2 years. I realized that things aren't always going to be good. So set yourself up. And I'll tell you what, either I'm psychic or I'm just very, very lucky. Things are not going to be good in the future. So I kind of all right, I'm not going to buy that new truck. I really wanted a new truck. And I At my peak, I could have afforded a brand new, beautiful truck. I could not afford to live right now if I bought that truck, Quinn. I could not. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to air my sympathy on this podcast because I do feel for the younger generation. If I had to buy the house I'm in right now for the same price I paid for it, I could not afford it because of interest rates alone. And that's sad. And you're just setting the system up in a manner where you're just taking any hope that these kids have of being a homeowner and having something to call their own. I mean, not that they actually own it because there's taxes and, they'll take it away from you if, miss some taxes or a water bill or a trash bill or, your grass is too high. If your siding's the wrong color, whatever. It's it makes a lot of us feel good that, we had the opportunity to go out and do something. And these kids are basically being told, you will never own anything ever. You're gonna lease your shitbox car. You're gonna rent an apartment. You're gonna overpay for your food. You're gonna have no health care. Even if you can afford food, we're gonna tell you what you can or cannot eat. Your thoughts are going to be, basically curtailed via, if you type something on the internet, well, we didn't like what you said. Oh, then let's get into digital currency. Quinn, you ever see the movie Demolition Man?
I have, actually.
You have been fined 1 credit for violation of the moral whatever code. That's where we're going with digital currency.
Basically.
That is where my mind is going. Like, of all the movies I have ever watched throughout my life, especially really silly ones, I never expected Demolition Man to be oh, cool, we're doing this now. Electric cars. Remember, there's a whole lot of things in that movie. No guns. You can only see them in museums. Can't swear. Can't eat meat. No physical contact. Everybody was kind of around the place. And all the cool people lived underground. They ate meat. They had that beautiful Oldsmobile 442 because you know what? Sometimes you just need a gas car. And they still had guns. And all they were trying to do was survive. I don't want to get to that point as a country. And that's why that's the only reason I want to have a voice, is just trying to remind people, you are only 1 or 2 steps away of losing all personal control on your entire life. And they're spinning it in a way where, well, we're only going to go after these certain people. So it makes you feel good about your support for it. Well, remember Germany in the 30s?
Oh, a little bit. I didn't live in the time.
Didn't that
really remember the history?
Yeah, I remember that really flamboyant guy that yelled a lot with a stupid mustache. Yeah, he convinced a whole lot of people to turn on their neighbor because he convinced them they were doing the right thing. And you're viewing this as a leftist or a right winger. You're going to say, oh, that's the opposite party. No, in reality, we're doing it to each other. And that shit needs to stop because that's how they win. I apologize for I let a couple swear words go this evening, but I'm very, very riled up over this one, especially after that AOC accusation. I read that. I think I read the same article you did, probably. I was like, you cannot be kidding me, you psycho. And no, she was serious. I read the words. They were there. And then you had the actual video quote, the audio quote. I'm like, yeah, that's where we are. So-and-so is bad. I'm not. Vote for me.
And it's sad too that we got the leftists who trusts the Democrats that all you gotta do is one Democrat be for abortion and just be a Democrat, have abortion. They will trust you completely, no matter what you do to destroy the country. But you know what? And then the Republicans, all you gotta do is say some conservative things. Now, of course, more and more people are waking up to this, like Mike Johnson proven to be a rhino, but
Don't get me started on him.
but then you got people like me and Mindy Robinson who sees the Republicans in most all Democrats and most Republicans as what they are, a uni party, and that we need to get rid of them all and have a whole new government and set in place with a different party. And that's what it needs to come down to. And then we need to jail every single person in politics that was either destroying the country or voting to destroy the country with actual knowledge of it, of knowing it. And like, I just switched to the Constitution Party.
I saw that. Congratulations.
Thank you. And the reason why is because they are constitutionally held accountable, but within the party. Like, if I was to run for mayor and I tried to censor anyone, I would have someone. If someone, let's say from Illinois, heard my speech in the Constitution Party, they would say you're violating the First Amendment, and I'd be like,
they would
"You know
keep
what?
you
You're
in,
right."
they would keep you in check within the law that we have.
Yes. So, and I mean, I like libertarians. Many of their ideas, but they are so screwed up. Other than Mindy Robinson, who's the only normal libertarian in the whole party that I know, that's not for abortions, that's not for destruction of this country, who wants smaller government, who will fight tooth and nail for this country as a petite woman, I may add, who's not afraid to yell at the government. And I mean, to me, she's closer to the Constitution Party than a libertarian.
Well, I mean, you know me. I love the idea of libertarianism, but they're just a bunch of pot smoking gun owners. That's really what it comes down to. And I mean, their memes are pretty good too. Like, I do like their memes. And I think I don't know, I think they just kind of like realized we're a joke and we're going to run with it. And they do put out a lot of, thought-provoking things. Like, oh, I'm being taxed too. It's not just, oh, the rich people aren't paying tax. It's they're not paying tax for X, Y, and Z reason, but I can't afford to find those reasons to not pay tax. The fact that, I mean, I told you, I'm an extremist when it comes to Pro 2A. Like, I should be able to go on my iPad right here, go on Amazon, and have something really, really cool at my door in 2 days.
Well,
but I
hate
can't.
it. And by the way, to all those listening, I do not no longer shop at Amazon whatsoever. I will get my stuff from Public Square, which is an Amazon alternative, which is for us patriots who loves the country. Amazon is woke, and we should not be giving them. We should make them the next Bud Light. And yes, you can take that clip, spread it all over the social media of me saying that. I don't care because because Amazon hates us. But Public Square, if you love your country, go to Public Square.
The reason, Amazon's really took off during COVID, right? And the people, it's really funny because the people who hate Jeff Bezos, who basically doesn't even own the company anymore, I started using Amazon during COVID. Why? Because I couldn't go to the store without wearing a mask. And I'm like, no, I'm not wearing a freaking mask. Like, no, this is stupid. I'm a healthy young man, damn it. And, also, would go home and take my my COVID shots, if you will. Hey, what happens when you get a boo-boo? You put alcohol on it, you clean it, the Bush Light, the alcohol, cleans the boo-boos on the inside. But same with Tesla. Left does something, creates something, pushes something, makes something really popular, and then all of a sudden they become too big, and now we don't like them, and it just implodes. But I can't say that the Republicans and the right are completely innocent here either, because when Elon Musk tried to create an alternate version of a car, basically an alternative. Like, if you want it, buy it. If you don't, whatever. I don't care. I'm going to make it. So he made electric cars cool, because we've had electric cars since the 90s. Honestly, since, the early 1900s. But, like, we tried to do production cars that were completely electric since the 90s. GM did it with the EV1. It failed. They actually took them all back and crushed them. They didn't want anybody to have one ever. But then Tesla comes along, and like, oh, Elon Musk didn't create Tesla. You're right, he didn't. He bought a failing company and turned it into like the most profitable, or at least highest selling EV car company in the market, and made it happen during a massive, massive recession during the 2008 era. Wait. Was that Donald Trump's fault too? No. That was the other guy. That was that guy from Chicago who planned parties. But the left loved him. He's going to change the world. He's going to get rid of internal combustion engines. And the day Elon Musk pissed off the left when he said, no, you can't get rid of internal combustion cars. You cannot get rid of oil consumption. It's not going to happen. All he was trying to do was give offset it, because you can't just go and things are changed. We do need to find alternative sources for fuel. I really truly believe that, but you're not going to legislate it into happening. You need companies that are innovative and willing to take a financial risk, Tesla, and make something that people want to buy. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I like Tesla cars. I've driven them. They're amazing. Would I spend my own money on one? Absolutely not. They're crap as far as, ownership and, having to plug it in. Do you imagine coming home late from work and you're like, oh, I got to get in the house. I got to pee. You forget to charge your freaking car that night and you can't go to work the next morning because, shit, I didn't charge my car. You know what I can do with my Subaru? I can take it to the gas station a mile away. I can put gas in it and be 5 minutes late to work. That's
Exactly.
what it comes down to.
Well, here's an idea. Why don't we make cars, if it's about the environment, as they say, but we all know it's about money, why don't we have engines that run on clean, renewable water?
They killed that guy.
Because it's not about the environment. It's all about money.
Also, when you're driving a rolling computer that is connected to satellites, it's really easy for them to go, nope.
Exactly.
And
this is
honestly the best, and it is coming from a car background. Hydrogen. Hydrogen is probably going to be the best way to go. One, most abundant element in the universe. You can get it through water. However, it takes a lot of electricity to extract the hydrogen from water. Now, I am not a scientist. I do not claim to be smart in that aspect of any shape or form. However, where do you think a power plant gets its power to run the things inside the power plant? It creates the power.
Carbon.
So Tell me why I cannot basically create a small power plant to start creating hydrogen. So then I can start running a bigger power plant on hydrogen. And then once I get that power plant going completely on hydrogen, I'm going to use that hydrogen-powered power plant to create hydrogen for hydrogen consumption. In 1997, BMW built a hydrogen-powered 7 Series. Their big, like, flagship sedan. Last I checked, that car is still running today. Which, I mean, the fact that a BMW built in 1997 is still running today is shocking all in itself, let alone a hydrogen fuel cell car. But no, we kind of did the same thing to hydrogen that we did when gas-powered cars came out. You're driving around on a bomb. I'm going to tell you, Quinn, I watch a lot of slow-mo videos because, that's one of the things that technology is absolutely wonderful for. It's like the best footage of absolutely everything on planet. If my fuel tank is going to blow up in a car that I am driving, I'm telling you right now, I would much rather blow up in a hydrogen car because it's just done. I don't sit there and simmer like a steak on low. That's the way to do it. And well, up until like the I don't know, last 10 years or so, like where they got into the direct port fuel injection stuff, you can convert old cars to run on hydrogen. It's actually not difficult. You can convert them to run on natural gas. I have an old Jeep. It's what they call a throttle body injection. So it's like a carburetor, but it's computer controlled. I go on summitracing.com. I buy a nitrous plate, which is what you would normally put on a race car. And instead of piping gasoline to that, you essentially, I mean, granted, I'm oversimplifying it. You go in there, you put this little plate in there, it fogs natural gas in, and your car will run on natural gas with like very little modification. And it's cheap. You can actually buy the kit. Like if you typed in natural gas conversion kit for throttle body, like they're out there and you just click buy and it's at your house in 2 days because, America.
Well, everyone.
Oh wow, we went through an hour already?
Yeah, we did. Believe it or not.
I apologize for my tism once again. I'm just, it's been a day.
No, you're good. Hey, having you on as a co-host is a big blessing. Everyone, we will see you next week. And please, get people, and please, we would love to see your comments. We want to see your thoughts on the things we talk about.
Yeah, and this no comment thing. It hurts my feelings. I don't even know. it really hurts my feelings. Like, come on, man. It's Tuesday. I work in the car business. It's usually not a good day. Like, come on, like rile me up a little bit. Let's have some conversations.
Oh yes.
And in the future, we're gonna figure out a way to tag people in and all that stuff. It's gonna be glorious.
Oh yes, and also and please like, share, subscribe. Follow the channel, especially on the Rumble. I would love to see my Rumble grow beyond 19 followers. And we will see you and hopefully we'll see you next week.
Oh no, we're coming back no matter what. Nope, you're not gonna stop us. Everybody, have a fantastic week. Sorry again for my tism rants, but I get excited and things happen. So here we are. Bye.
Later.